so we've been talking about the weather and things like pressure and wind and stuff like that. Now we're going to talk about stuff that we can see, clouds and like precipitation. And then from there we'll move on to storms and tornadoes and more active stuff. Today is 6.4. We're going to talk about clouds, the different types of clouds, cloud formation, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty fun and easy, I think. And clouds are just so photogenic that I went ahead and made a PowerPoint for these notes instead of just doing a document. I don't do that all the time because who has that much time, but I really like clouds. They have a lot of cool different shapes. So let's get started. So clouds form due to condensation that occurs as the warm air moves upwards. Moving upwards exposes it to colder temperatures. It also expands because of the lower amount of pressure that occurs up there. Once it reaches the dew point, we talked about this in our previous notes, basically when the water vapor is 100% saturated, it starts to condense out and liquid droplets form, or ice crystals. Ice crystals or liquid droplets, depending on exactly where it is in terms of coldness. And we can classify clouds based upon things like the shape of the cloud, the height it's reached, and its precipitation produced. And this is just a diagram showing all the different types. We're going to talk about our three main categories, and then what some of these prefixes mean, like alto and cirro and stuff, and what nimbus means. But this is basically all of it just summed up in one image here. And all of these should be familiar. We've seen these types of clouds. The big storm clouds or little fluffy summer clouds, or thin, wispy, high-up clouds. We've seen these things. So, all right. So, three main shapes for clouds. These are some of the cooler, more exotic shapes that can form sometimes, like these swirling ones. These can happen around mountain ranges because the shapes of the mountains can cause the air to swirl around the mountain peaks, and as it moves upwards, it creates these swirly, sort of upside-down ice cream cone clouds. These are really cool clouds called rollers. This is from Australia. This actually occurs so often in this particular location that they're pretty predictable, and it's sort of like a tidal influence. The atmosphere has tides just like the water has tides, and it creates these sort of waveforms where you end up with peak areas that have condensation occur, and then dips in between where there's no condensation occurring, and you get these long, skinny clouds. And then this up here, I don't really remember, but it just looked like a crazy storm system. Maybe lots of downdrafts to pull it down into these sort of bubbly shapes. Okay, clouds, so cool. So, the main shapes though. First up is stratus. Stratus clouds tend to be fairly smooth and flat. The name means sheets, and so these can be the clouds that cover the entire sky. They're just very large. You don't have a whole lot of detail in between the two clouds. They're just close together and smoothly arranged. They're usually found at low altitude. In fact, fog is a type of stratus cloud. And if you've ever been driving up and down through hills and valleys, when you're on the top of a hill, sometimes you can see the top of a fog bank, and you can see that it looks the same on top as it does underneath, that it's just that flat, even sort of layer of cloud material, foggy stuff. Then we have cumulus clouds. Cumulus clouds are the big, fluffy ones. These are the ones, if you ask kindergartners to draw clouds, they draw cumulus clouds. They're all big and fluffy and round around the edges. They can be very, very tall, tens of miles, hundreds of miles, I don't know, tens of miles probably tall. And they can occur with storm systems, but also just on, summer day, nice weather type clouds. They don't necessarily always come with storms. And then finally we have the cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are very thin, feathery, wispy sort of clouds. They're actually mostly made out of ice crystals instead of liquid droplets, and so they're a bit more translucent compared to other clouds. The light travels through them easier. And they get this sort of shape where they're tugged around by the wind into these sweeping long tails. Sometimes they're known as horse feathers, which is really evocative because horses don't have feathers. Maybe Pegasus feathers? I don't even know. But anyway, it's a thin, wispy sort of shape. Here the light's being bent through those ice crystals, so you've got sort of a rainbow that's embedded in these cirrus clouds here. You can see the lights. They tend to be very high up, as you might expect, because that's where it's cold enough to get cirrus clouds, but you can have them at lower altitudes if it's cold enough. It can happen. Okay, then we use prefixes to describe height. The prefixes are very, very similar to cloud names, just to make things more complicated. So, clouds that are high up get the prefix cirro. Mid-level clouds are alto, just like in voice ranges. An alto voice for females is mid-level. And then strato is low. We don't use the prefix when it's on the word that sort of is built around. So like a cirrus cloud is already high up. We don't have to have cirro cirrus. and we don't say stratostratus. Whenever it's a high up cirrus cloud, we just call it a cirrus cloud. When it's a low down stratus cloud, we just call it a stratus cloud. But we can have cirrocumulus clouds, or altocumulus clouds, or stratocumulus clouds. Or we can have cirrostratus clouds. For example, this would be a smooth, even layer, that's the stratus part, at the high altitude, the cirro prefix. Finally, we name clouds based on how much precipitation they're producing. Precipitation can be rain or snow, and for this we apply the word nimbus. Nimbus can be a suffix at the end of the word, or it can be written as nimbo, a prefix at the beginning of the word. And so we see it both ways. But either way, it still just means lots and lots of rain and snow, or snow. So we can have cumulonimbus. These are huge thunderstormy clouds. Cumulo means it's the big puffy clouds, and nimbus just means it's got a lot of rainfall. That's what this image down here shows. You can see that flattened base that they're known for, and the big puff at the top. This is a huge storm cloud. Lots of rain, and they even caught a lightning strike in the image here. And then we also have nimbostratus clouds. These are sort of like those flat, gray, rainy day clouds where it covers the whole horizon. It's not like a storm, it's just non-stop rain. That would be nimbostratus. Okay, here's another image just showing it. So up high, we could have, whoops, no, go back. That did not work. No, told you I wasn't going to edit these things, so I'm just going to leave this bit in. Especially the part where I can't find the little presentation button. Okay. So, here we have, up high we have cirro clouds. There's cirrus, the thin, high, wispy ones. You can have cirrostratus, which is almost like an extremely high haze of clouds. It's not like, you can't usually make out individual clouds when it's cirrostratus. It's just like the whole sky is sort of dimmed a little bit because of these high up, icy clouds. Or cirrocumulus, and I did it again. Wow, that's just embarrassing. There. Cirrocumulus clouds, where you can see individual little poofy clouds very, very high up in the sky. They don't tend to be as big up there just because it's so cold. They don't have the energy really to expand as much. Then in the middle prefix, the middle area, we have altostratus, which is like again, a slightly thicker, hazy cloud covering the whole sky probably. Altocumulus ones. And then low down, we might have stratus clouds, like a low, foggy weather. Stratocumulus, low-lying, puffy clouds. Here they put the cumulus clouds as being low. They're a little bit different in that they're individual little puff balls instead of like the stratocumulus would be like puff balls that are all like pretty tightly packed together. And then of course we have our rainy ones. The cumulonimbus is huge here, going from low all the way up to high. Lots of rain underneath. And then the nimbostratus is just like a dreary, dark day where it's just like the whole sky is covered with clouds and it just rains for hours and hours and hours. Okay, so that's it for clouds. Next time we're going to talk about rain and snow and stuff in more detail. I hope you guys have a nice long break, and we'll pick this up again on Tuesday.